Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Political federalism has to work on the legs of economic federalism. But when you have political federalism and the economy is literally managed, then you have amputated the federalism. It cannot work, and it cannot work, and it cannot work.
How do we have state governors and state governments that will begin to take pride in moving beyond just political soundbites to real project development? We can come back here next year with clear projects, or we can come back here next year to talk some more.
What international investors will need is transparency, proper transparency. And we also have to think about this pipeline which we have to draw on and present to the governor's forum, not for their endorsement, not for their endorsement, but for their knowledge and blessing.
Southeast is one of the best place region in terms of agriculture wise. Ken Ugube is here. We conducted interviews for some of our top executives, and after shortlisting them, and he told them where to go, not even one person up because of insecurity.
Businessmen and foreign investors, we are assuring you that security will continue to improve in the Southeast. So you are welcome. Thank you.
We are simply helping. SEREDEC is helping to make things happen. SEREDEC is saying, use the talents of our own people to develop this region. That's what we are doing.
Challenge, the pain, the gain, and the potential of doing business in southeastern Nigeria, the Biafran land. Bureaucracy, growing the economy of the southeast. Think home.
Yeah, welcome back again on this series, Economy of the Southeast, Bureaucracy. And we're still on the Southeast Economic Summit put together by SEREDEC. Today's series is going to be quite a longer one because we'll be looking into the heart and soul of economic development of Igboland, talking about the ease of doing business in the Southeast. You know, in a business they take notice now. We are champions when it comes to retail businesses and stuff like that. Commerce and industry, we champion it in Africa. So this series we're going to be looking at the ease of doing business in the Southeast, and let's get it from the members of this preliminary section that will be discussing on this. I'll be right back.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this session will focus on ease of doing business. How easy is it to do business in the Southeast region? So this is reality check, like I said at the beginning. Now here is the presentation that says we've made progress. Now we're going to test that out with a practical conversation with someone like Chief Chika Okafor, who is a businessman and who encounters all of these issues that have been raised as improvements. So, Chief Chika, could you talk us through your experience over the last time you came here and now as a businessman, and what has changed?
Let me start by thanking the organizers of this, because they have given us a sense of belonging. We businessmen from Southeast, when we look at our region, we feel very bad. But I thank God that today things are changing. First of all, If you want to do business, you must be sure of security. And I can proudly say that today, Southeast is one of the best region in terms of security wise. So my advice is that our governors will continue to dialogue and join hands together to replicate what happened in Anambra State. Today, Anambra State is the safest state in the whole federation. I can say it anywhere. Anambra State is number one. Then nobody will talk about development without security. When you look at our street today, you see vehicles fleeing everywhere because people are now happy. People are now feeling free to come home. In most of the cities during this Christmas, you will see traffic everywhere. Then, now when you tell somebody to invest in his community or in his state, he will listen. Some of us knew what we suffered in the past. There was a time we were not able to attract good workers in our establishment in Anambra Southeast. We will conduct interviews. I believe that if somebody like Ken Igboland is here, he conducted interviews for some of our top executives. And after shortlisting them, and he told them where they're going, nobody, not even one person showed up because of insecurity. Then some of our partners were withdrawn by the government. Some of our staff were asked to go back by their government because of lack of security. But today it's not like that. So that is number one achievement in Southeast. Then our governors, they are trying because I know that in some states you find it very easy to get their perfect land documents, their CFO or governor's consent. Something that takes years in the past. Sometimes you can't even trace your files. But today it's not like that. So it's another big plus. Then again, the issue of facility to bring in goods to Southeast and exporting. Let me give one example. In the 90s, when PKC, Pan Canal, PKC, we were exporting Pan Canal to Pan Canal tape, sorry. We were exporting to overseas. The demand was so much. But then the price was high in the international markets. They were selling $220, $230. They are giving us $90. Malaysia was selling them $220. Then before the price dropped to $150, $130. Now Nigeria is not exporting. What is the reason? We don't have infrastructure at our port. If you want to export 5,000 tons of PKC from Port Harcourt, it will take 5,000 tonner vessel 1 month to load it out. If you want to export 50,000 tonner vessel in Malaysia, it will take only 10 days. So, what is the implication? The importers will calculate their demurrage minus it from the value of their goods before they give you an offer. In Malaysia today, they are selling 190, 110. In Nigeria, we can get $50. And that $50, by the time you pay for local transportation, transporting your goods to the port, and you pay the money on the trucks. Because when you get to the distance, you have to pack them in 50, 25 kg. Somebody has to carry it on the head, go to the vessel, drop it, open the tax, drop it there, and take the empty bags. But in Malaysia, they have facility that once the thing gets to the warehouse, they have a brewer that load it in the ship. So the moment you move your distance to the distance, in 10 days, they will load 50,000 tonner vessel. But it will take you 1 month to load 5,000 in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I'll come back to you. I'll turn the microphone over to the SEMA representative to also give us... Who are representing, sir? Oh, okay, Abia State. All right, so first we will take the states who have been the ones working through all of this, and then we'll come back to Manager General Mahi on the security, because you touched a lot on security, and so we will take you last, then after you, we'll come back to Anambra before we come back to you, ma'am. So please go ahead.
Thank you, the moderator. Let me stand on already led layers of protocol. My name is Cosmos Ndube, the Commissioner in charge of Trade and Investment at the States. And let me start by thanking the organizers of SEREDEC for this well-packaged summit. Abia State have really gone far on the area of ease of doing business, EODB. The last World Bank rating, we were among the 5 states that World Bank rated and approved and awarded the best performing states on ease of doing business. And the reason for this is very easy, in that Abia have worked, our governor have worked tenaciously to make sure that all the bottlenecks that will impair on investors having these documents within a certain period of time. In Abia now, we are the only states that you can get your seal of gold, just like Mr. Chika said, in 1 week, because we have automated our land registry. And not only that, the governor also set up a State Enabling Business Environment Council headed by the Deputy Governor who is seated here. And in that council, they have also set up a one-stop shop called Investment House. In that one-stop shop, we have the land registry is there, the tax enforcement, the ease of making sure that whatever you did in Abia, that you walk into that one-stop shop and you can collect your document in the next minutes. So Abia have tried to lower the tension, the challenges that investors will always pass through success if you are coming to do business in Abia. And that's why I want to a bit come into what Chika said on the area of security. Abia is well secured also. That is the only state for the past 5 years or 4 years and this year counting, we have not heard of any bank robbery or major robbery in the states. We also have organized stakeholders who we engage into summits and seminars like this to carry and receive feedback as to areas where they need improvement all the time. The Deputy Speaker is seated here and he is a witness to it. And in Abia now, we are working towards doing away with the yellow pages. We find out that people are having stress in going through the yellow pages. So we're introducing what we call e-commerce business, especially as regards to the military, a marketplace where you have interactive section where you can click on any market and you are now able to identify the trader where he is and where his shop is. So you cannot shop online. Outside the IGL are also automated. All our windows of investment in Abia State is under automation now. So the e-commerce will now buy a space in the digital platform whereby wherever you are, we can reach the trader. And also we're trying to unbury the economy of Abia. That's the last speaker just said about running burial economy. We are trying to unbury the economy that has been buried, bringing up Abians. The governor is the chief marketer of made in Aba products as I speak. And in almost all the internet platforms, you cannot be able to reach out to Abia and get what you want. Very easy. So EODB is working in Abia, and the governor is doing very well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner for Investment from Abia State. Cosmas Ndukwe. But I have a question before I turn it over to the Anambra State Commissioner. At the last summit, there was a question around the challenge about multiple taxation and the role of local governments. As you move from one local government in Abia to another, you have these people throwing spikes at vehicle moving, and then it was consolidation of taxes. Has it been done now?
Yes, we have what we call consolidated revenue now.
Okay.
And all the subheads, all the tax subheads, levies are consolidated into one. Once paid, you don't have the challenges of being confronted by any local government or whatever. So both the local government are there in that revenue council. So in the revenue council, we have all the ministries, parastatals, and the local government levies and taxes embedded into one channel. Once paid, you are free to move on the road. Thank you. All
right, thank you. We will confirm that if someone from the crowd who would want to confirm that this is happening in Abia, we will confirm that. To the Anambra State Commissioner, Anambra has been in the forefront as a leading light in improving ease of doing business in the Southeast. We would like to know what are the major driving force for Anambra and how Anambra has been successful and any other areas that will need improvement in Anambra State.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, good afternoon. The day is far gone, so permit me to stand on already well-established protocols. And let me thank my fellow panelist, Chief, for making my job relatively easy. He said a lot of good things about Anambra, and I think it's important to highlight how we see strategically the ease of doing business equation. And we've mentioned it several times. We've mentioned infrastructure. But I'd like to take a few seconds to just dimension that, because when we say infrastructure, it's a very broad concept. And I'd like to divide that into both soft and hard infrastructure. So hard infrastructure is typically what you get: your roads, your power, your electricity, ICT, etc. And then you have your soft infrastructure, which is your security, your education, your parks and recreation, your emergency services, etc. And that collectively forms the bucket of what makes it easier to do business in your state. It's also important to understand what triggers specific investors, because the truth is, even though you look to government, there's simply not enough capital within government for us to fully develop the Southeast. So it then goes with an understanding of what drives a particular investor. We've been fortunate to have sat on both sides, the private sector and now the public sector, so we understand what triggers different kinds of investors. Different kinds of investors are triggered by different things. A foreign investor might look at low wage rates or may look at exchange rates, etc. Domestic-driven investment might be slightly different because they're already used to the in-country risk. So what have we done within Anambra State and answered by a number of things? One is that you'll hear a lot of states talk about a one-stop shop, OSSC. And that's a structural issue. However, having said that, it's not just about the structure. It's about the underlying law and the underlying freedom that the structure is given, right down to the underlying staffing of the structure. Because having a name and not having the people to run that name, you then run into the traditional issues of people seeing government as government. So we do have a one-stop shop, which is the point of entry for all investors coming into Nigeria. And we regulate and discuss with all the MDAs, the ministries, the departments, the agencies, to ensure that if you come to Anambra, you know exactly what you're getting. By law, statutorily, a lot of the key commissioners, the SSG, the Commissioner of Finance, the Commissioner of Trade and Industry, the Attorney General of the state, the Commissioner of Lands, we all sit on the same board. And so we can sit around the table relatively often and take very, very quick decisions that affect our investors. So we have managed to dovetail what we're doing in Anambra to the wider EXCO, the Executive Council, of which many of us attend. And that includes harmonization, as we talked of taxes. So we have harmonized our taxes. We have implemented a GIS system whereby land and property can easily be mapped. We have harmonized multiple issues on logistics and parks. And then we have set out a strategy for development, which is to look at what are the pillars that are actually driving the Anambra State economy. The Anambra State economy is about 55.8, call it 60% made of services. And within that service sector, about 38-40% is trade. So we focus very, very specifically on a lot of those parameters that we know will drive our development. Thank you.
Thank you. I will talk to Ambassador Kemwadiba. There's a lot of things that drives improvements in the ease of doing business. One of them is human capital development. Yes, the kind of skills that is required to drive the economy of the Southeast region. Having had all of the other speakers, I thought I should ask you to dwell more around the issue of human capital development, the kind of industry-focused skills, the kind of skills that is required to drive the economy of the Southeast. And you might want to add any other thing you think.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, he's asked me to speak about something that I'm not going to talk about. I'm a foreign service officer, retired, so all I'm going to talk to you today about the ease of doing business is how to get your visas going out and to get your visas for those who want to come in here. Your foreign direct investors need visas to get into Nigeria. Last year, where there was here, the keynote speaker almost didn't make it to deliver the speech. But because in the background, the foreign affairs person, me, and the immigration services, we were able to work together, and he got a visa as he came into the Abuja airport. So that is one thing I want to talk about, that our embassies, our missions abroad, working in conjunction with the immigration services, have been asked to help people who want to come into Nigeria to get visas quicker and faster. That is my own area of competence. I will help in the background. I am passionate about the Igbo race. I have retired from the service since 2007, but I give my services wherever it is required. Like for SEREDEC, I have come to be a member of the board, and I give my services happily. So I'm not going to talk about, you've heard from the practitioners, both at the state level and also people like Chikas. They will give practical examples, but I will not go into human capital development. Thank you.
It is obvious that we're going to continue on this very series next week, talking about the ease of doing business in the Southeast. Don't forget, sometime last 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, we did a documentary sponsored by Alibo Development Foundation, ADF, on the same issue, the ease of doing business. If you have not watched that video, go and watch that video. That is, we call it chain breakers. The link is there on the description, and you can also click on the link that is popping up there to watch that video. Then you understand what it takes to do business in the Southeast. And those that are doing it already, you must give kudos to them, because they are really, really taking bold steps. It takes boldness and bravery to do business in the Southeast. But that can be better if we have the enabling environment that will be put in place by the government of the Southeast. And that is just all we're talking about. And Chikasin has been talking about the improvement of security, which is also very, very important with respect to doing business in the Southeast. But there are other things that touches an average retailer, that person that is selling stuff on the street, that wheelbarrow pusher, that keke napep driver, that hawker, that old woman that is seated at one corner to sell a egusi to you, the extortion, the intimidation taxation by multiple taxation, which we don't even know if it's having its way to the government coffers. You see, that kind of, in fact, I'm going to address it critically because it was mentioned during this preliminary section, which I will not be able to cover on today's series. So join me next week as we puncture on some of these things that concern every one of us, both the rich and the poor, right here on ECOSI, Economy of the Southeast. Thank you for watching. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing. Because here, this is where we do it. So join me next week Friday on this program, ECOSI. Stay safe. Goodbye.